but we're not seeing labor costs rise as much as we had a couple of years ago. And for associations, that's a big deal. The rising inflation in the last few months has been triggered by tariffs, and those are mostly products that we import. And you probably are not, most associations probably are not spending a lot of money on products, more on services, both their own labor. And then if you host meetings, you're talking about hotel labor is a big factor. And I think this is especially appropriate for the kind of work that association employees are doing. They're not, out in the field as mechanics or plumbers. They're working with sort of words and ideas and concepts. And we have two things going on. The short run thing is in the economy, there's normally a lot of what we call churn, where turnover, some people leave this job, go to that job. We are seeing less of that. We're seeing fewer voluntary quits, and the layoff rate has been very low. So not a lot of departures, but this year the hiring rate has gone down. So businesses are, there are some headlines of layoffs, but the data show relatively few. But the companies don't want to give up their workers, but they're not going to hire. So we have less churn. But many of the senior positions are people who learned by doing the junior positions. Mm-hmm. And if we don't have a lot of junior positions, who's going to be the senior position 10 years from now? So I think the challenge for the senior people is figuring out how to nurture talent when the sort of fresh people coming in, who will be your mid managers in a while, when they are few in number and are more or less AI drivers, how do you get them up? And of course, it depends upon the particular job, the particular tasks that person is doing. But I would suggest that be high on every leader's to-do list, to learn more about that and figure out how to make that work. Because you can't stop it. It's going to happen. And then I think a lot of the issue is which association is providing greater value. And, you have members and you think of them as in part of your sector, but you've got members who are thinking, is it worth going to this association meeting or that association meeting? So value for the cost is the key factor there. The big picture here is that if you look at the working age population, and the Census Bureau has been tabulating this for the 25 to 65-year-old group. And they have projections that are plausible for the end of the decade. This decade that we're in, from 2020 to 2030, has the lowest growth of the working age population since the Civil War. Lowest growth of the working age population since the Civil War. And most of our working age population growth in the US this decade has come from immigration. And if you have a vision for a business or an association or a nonprofit organization of growing in size, if you're going to grow your head count, you're going to have to steal people from some other employer. If you have a vision that you can expand the organization and use higher productivity to expand without hiring, that's great. But keep in mind, other employers are going to try to poach your people. So I've written about productivity, and the key things are better tools, better training, better management. Tools, could be, depending on the job, a better wrench, or it could be a better piece of software that enables somebody to do the job more efficiently. Could be AI. Training, a lot of people get, a little bit of onboarding, but then they're struggling to do a better job. And then one of the overlooked things, I think, is management. The most productive people have a good first level manager. And I think too many first level managers were good at doing the work and got promoted to manager and never given any training on how to be a manager and how to nurture other employees. So I would focus in that area as the way to cope. The best way to cope with the tight labor market is greater productivity.